Hey, I'm Andrew Lloyd Fry. Today I am talking about Weird Fishes / Arpeggi by Radiohead. I'm pretty sure Arpeggi is a reference to arpeggios, which we'll get into that in this video. So first thing, it opens up with just the drums and just by itself. It's not super complicated what the drums are doing, and if you look at where the snare drum, which is, I feel like, the rhythmic emphasis, the snare drum is happening on beats 2, the of 2, like 1 E and beats 4, and the of 4. So in pretty much all popular music, the snare drum hitting on 2 and 4 is the, I would say, rhythmic foundation. Unfortunately, classical music has completely neglected that time feel, which I think is really powerful. But if you just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, for me that can be a little bit not interesting enough. And just that addition of the uhs, so it's like if we have like 16th notes, it's the 4th one. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and So just those two little things, I think, go a long way to adding to the rhythmic feel of this piece. So if we look at the chords, we have E minor, F sharp minor, A, and back to E. So what is interesting about this is another example of Radiohead using modal harmony. I made a video about 15 step, same thing, they're using modal harmony. Both of those are in Dorian. So this is an E Dorian, which, a very quick explanation, that means it's like we're using the notes from the D scale, but E is our home bass. So normally what would be expected for E minor is the same as the G major scale, which has 1 sharp. But when we're in E Dorian, we also have the C sharp, so we have that A major chord, which just gives it its own feel. Now, what I really like about this piece is how the chords are played, and they're played in an arpeggio of 3/8 notes. Now, what is so great about this is 3/8 notes are a beat and a half long. So number one, where the cycle is starting is going to be on the beat, off the beat, on the beat, off the beat. So that's just going to keep it fresh by that oscillation. And then what is the starting note? Like what notes are falling on the beat are continually changing. So I'm just going to play like quarter notes E down here. So it's like on the beat is B, and then on the beat is G, and on the beat is E. So you have that mini cycle going, and then you have another level of that is what's happening on beat 1 of the measure. So you have all these mini cycles where you have these simple pieces, but because there's a level of misalignment, you just have those pieces play out, and it's actually continuing to generate this new type of content. Now, I don't know, there's definitely a bit of classical minimalism influence in Radiohead's music. They've talked about Arvo Pärt. Johnny Greenwood has performed Steve Reich's works. He wrote a piece for guitar. This feels like classical minimalism technique where you have some simple ideas, but the way you line them up just makes this more, it's like small inputs, but the way you make them work out, it just creates more than what you put in. I hope that makes sense. There's just one other thing I wanted to point out from this piece, and it's the melody when Thom Yorke comes in singing. So it starts out like this. And then he sings this. So if you hear that in isolation, that is not super melodically strong. But when you hear it in the context of the piece, it's not, it feels fitting, it feels like it sounds good in the context of the piece with everything that's going on. And I think what we can pull from that is there's a lot of factors with what makes a piece of music successful. So there's harmonic interest, there's rhythm, there's orchestration or the way the instruments are playing it, and there's melody. And you can, as long as maybe two or sometimes even one of those is strong and interesting, you can get away with less interest in some of those other categories. And even at times, if all of those are super intricate or super busy or super interesting in their own right, that sometimes that can just be a little bit overload.